Yo, what's up? I finally decided to learn the Demon King boss battler yesterday, and I went through basically a few hours of just the sequences of learning, the basic process of just learning the fight. The teams I used was the Melee and Albedo team because that was a team that was recommended to me because I didn't really see any gameplay or anything on how it goes. So I was live on stream and this is what I was actually recommended to use. Over these hours, I basically farmed quite a bit. We did fail a few runs, but this is my very first hell run that I'm about to show you. And I'll try to explain, like, to the best of my ability what's exactly happening in the moment, you know? But it is sped up and cut for, like, viewer experiences and stuff, so yeah. Basically, what you'll have Melee team as the A team. So once it comes in, you get hits. You get the free rank up. If you get the debuffs on you, you get a free rank up. So that's nice. I would say this first play with the Albedo team I did here is wrong because you're going to try to card draw. Because you definitely need a second counter for like the best experience on this. So what's the basic premise of this fight is you're going to be trying to get these rules done. They're going to show you the next rule. That's going to be for the next phase you got to go through. You need to use these specific cards. They're going to show you the icons is either buff, debuff, attack cards, stance cards, or cleanse. I don't have cleanse, so if I ended up starting with a cleanse, what I end up doing, I would just literally just restart it. After we hit a rule, basically what happens, you're going to get buffed, ranked up, and he himself is going to be, I think his stats get lowered for like a turn or two. And that really helps you just to like burst him down with some pretty insane hits. Especially from counters, you do insane damage from Albedo. With the amount of buffs she has and with the rank up for level 3, it's basically a guaranteed kill if you have double level 3. Because that's all you really need. But the thing is, it's RNG to get it because there are some points you will not be able to actually pull a second counter for quite a bit. And I went through that in a few runs, so that's why I say this team is kind of it's very RNG based. If you can't hit certain rules, especially for second phase, that's like what you're going to be using for your melee team. Because if you're getting 2 level 2s to use and you can't really hit level 2s on like your first team, like your Albedo team, you just swap to melee, burn through that rule. Or even if you're able to do it on Albedo's team, you can still swap to melee just to make up so you don't really stack too much extra corrosion, don't take too much extra damage, and you don't risk the rank downs. And then when you have to activate the rule, you come back basically to the Albedo team and you play the cards to activate the rule. That's another good strat we used while doing this. In my first run, I actually got decently lucky because we were able to pull another counter. That is actually crazy because sometimes the counter RNG, it's just too much and it can really take a few minutes just to get one, and sometimes you just won't pull it at all. So getting one on my first hell run was actually pretty insane. Not actually thinking back to it now because I had some pretty bad runs. After you activate the rule, you want to specifically counter at that point, so it's easier to just kill. There's one more mechanic. If you don't get the opportunity to get fully killed and you're just chipping him down from about 40% HP right up to about 10% HP, if you get him in between that threshold, he will be getting an HP buff that will be regenerating his HP quite a bit. So that's where it is. If it's below 10%, I think it's not there, and you can just fully like get rid of him. Once you get one rule down for the stun, so you don't take too much damage, he doesn't really do anything to you. The second one, you can get away with just using 2. You don't need to go full on 3. You don't really need to stun him. You can just hit the rule twice. Only 2 is enough to get rid of his immortality buff. So you can use whatever cards in whatever order here. So I can use level 1, level 2. So I can use anything as my first card, then level 1, level 2 in this position here. and it would still remove his immortality buff, and then we just kill. It's literally that easy for the second one. And after that point, if you already have him at 0%, it's basically a clear. This team right here, the melee team, this is the actual team that I've been currently using to farm it. This is way faster, and to me it feels like less RNG. It's way more consistent for me. I have found. And the second team doesn't really matter. I just had the same team set up in there. I swapped my Gother to this side and basically just moved around the links. That's all I really did, because I don't really use the second team too much. You only need these 4 units, and it works pretty fine. Like, my units, they sometimes get low, but they don't actually die. I don't think I've ever lost a unit in any of these runs while using this team. And I don't think I've lost a run either while using this team. And most of the runs it's pretty fast. So the first thing you want to do is hit with Kizna, because you do need the attack buff to proc here. If you don't have that buff, he's actually going to remove your melee's cards with his 3rd hit. So that's a huge thing. You got to make sure and have that Kizna card procced. And pay attention pretty much to like his rules for like what you're going to be needing. This team takes care of everything except, of course, the cleanse. We don't have a cleanse. Card draw doesn't really affect me too much while running this, because extra melee cards, extra Kizna cards, extra Dian cards, all are pretty good. The only dead card I think in hand would be the pink Gother card. That's the only dead card I think there is. Everything else is like fine to pull, because everything else is pretty much usable and can work decently well while rotating through. Because after this, you're not going to really need like the debuff anyway. Everything else works. One thing with this team, like, you won't really prioritize, I should say, is actually popping the Kizna buff like too early. Because you actually want as many debuffs on yourself. Because we want melee to get like debuffs to cleanse, to have his thing keep stacking back up. So as long as like you remember that, and make sure once he's fully maxed, you just throw him out. He will do crazy damage, and he one-shots both phases with a level 3 single target, by the way. The AoE does maybe like a 1/3 of each, maybe, which is still pretty insane. So even if you don't get the single targets, you can still chip him down. The ultimates still do insane damage. So even if it's like if you don't get the single target for melee, it's still gonna be like consistent damage going through. And also, I don't really swap teams when I'm using this, because I find it's just easier, because you already know Dian's the one's gonna get D ranked, so you can set up your hand for the next following rule with this team. If you don't get like a single target, what I will do, I'll try to push my Kizna's ultimate just for the extra bit of like stats as well, because it does help. And even my ultimates hit for like a few mil, especially like if I'm fully buffed up. Before hitting with melee or Dian's ultimate or anyone's ultimate, having the Kizna ult already up is pretty nice to have. Right here, I think I misplayed, because I should have, instead of using the Kizna card there, I should have used the Gother's rank 2. That's a mistake, because I literally missed out on her rank up buff for that, and I think it cost me maybe like 2-3 mil on melee's single target. Because normally when I do it, I would actually have it already active. I totally forgot I didn't have it active at the point, so I just used the card thinking I had it already up. So normally my Kisna ult would actually do like 1 mil something, close to 2 mil, and then my melee would go straight in and hit for maybe like 8 million. He still hits for like 6.7. I don't get me wrong, 6.7 is insane. But yeah, he can go way, way higher. And like, it's pretty consistent, especially if you follow these basic rules and have it properly set up. And it's not too hard to set up because your Diane, as I said, is going to be the one getting pretty much targeted the whole time. And when finishing the last rule, it is whatever. You just need 2. So if you have a level 3 and a level 1, or a level 2 if you can make 2 level 2s, or anything that gets you 2 rules done, you don't need to stun him in this one. So you're fine. As long as you get this rule done, it's basically over. You can hit with any single card. It doesn't matter if he stances because he's already at 1 HP. I've tested a few teams so far, apart from the first team I showed, because that was the first one I tried, right? But I tried a few other teams, and yeah, I think for me this one's the fastest. The fastest clear I had so far was like 5 minutes 30 seconds. This run here is actually not the fastest I've had. This is just the one I decided to record because I was testing teams before and getting a handle on like how they go. But this team right here is a pretty fast one, and it doesn't have too many stumbles to really hold you back. I'm going to be farming this with this specific 4 units. So yeah, I hope this helps because RNG based fights are really a pain, and this team I find like it really compensates for like what the Albedo team misses. Like you can't use everything. I understand like using 2 teams is part of the mechanic, but if you can avoid it and just have one team do it in like half the time, why not do that, right? So yeah, I hope you enjoyed. Thank you for watching, and I hope this helps. Peace.